Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran. I'm here on a priest to take a look at some of the other legendaries available. It seems that I have hit potentially my limit on how many legendaries are available right now, and hopefully more will be available in the beta. But I want to take a look at the early alpha version of legendaries on the priest for Shadow, Disc, and Holy. Legendaries in Shadowlands are going to be non-RNG. You'll be able to get recipes and craft even the secondary stats for legendaries. So this system coming back in Shadowlands, it seems Blizzard have made adjustments from what they did in Legion. Let's take a look at some of the legendary effects the priests are getting. I have not taken a look at them before, so this is going to be my first look at them ever. So I will be honest, I'm not really a Holy Priest main. I have fiddled with Discipline Priests in the past, and I've messed around with Shadow. I am more of a DPS player, so I understand Shadow to some extent. I kind of understand this because it's part of the gameplay is damage. But Holy, I am really Holy, not really an expert. So apologies ahead of time if there's certain legendaries that I just wasn't aware that maybe were a tier set or a legendary in Legion. So I will comment those on Holy from more of a noob's perspective, but I will still comment about like how I feel like you would end up playing some of these Legos. First legendary is going to be in the ring, and it reads: Circle of Healing reduces the cooldown of Holy Ward Sanctify. Prayer of Mending reduces the cooldown of Holy Ward Serenity. Holy Fire reduces cooldown of Holy Ward Chastise. So normally, as a priest, you would use certain abilities in order to kind of benefit from one another on extra abilities. So your single target big heal is Holy Word Serenity, and you would use single target heals like your heal, and I think Flash Heal also counts into it, in order to reduce the cooldown of that ability. So same thing goes for Holy Word Sanctify, which is an AoE heal. Using AoE heals will reduce the cooldown of that ability. With Smite, you would use a Holy Ward Chastise. You can stun or charm an enemy, and you can use the ability of Smite in order to get this ability back faster. So with this legendary, it seems that there's going to be a little bit more intermingling between these words. So this ability, the legendary itself, expands the list of abilities that can benefit towards certain holy words. So normally when you use your Sanctify, which is an AoE heal, you would use Prayer of Healing in order to get this back faster. But now you can also use the ability of Circle Healing in order to get this ability back faster. Looking back at this ability, your Prayer of Mending, which is this ability right here, Prayer of Mending that is instacast, it will reduce the cooldown of Holy Word Serenity. Serenity is going to be your single target heal, so going for the big emergency heal. Using the instacast ability of Prayer of Mending will cut down the cooldown of this ability, which is much easier to use since you can use this on the move. And then you have your Holy Word Chastise. You could use Holy Fire in order to get this ability back faster. So is Holy Fire actually instacast, or is it actually a cast ability? It is a cast ability, but it will get you the ability a little bit faster, so you don't always have to smite at the enemy. You will intermingle Holy Fire in between of casts with quite a strong damage ability and a decent dot to go afterwards. So this is going to be kind of cool. What I could totally see Priest doing is, let's say, having a fight, there was a lot of abilities on the move, or maybe you need to heal multiple enemies, right? The ability of Circle Healing can heal a party, and it can be used very, very quickly. Then you have your Prayer of Mending, which will bounce heals around all over a raid party. So this adds few extra core abilities that a priest might use in order to get more abilities back. From a priest gameplay, you don't always spam heal. You don't always spam Prayer of Healing. So when using other abilities in between of those cast abilities, you'll just basically have your holy words come back faster. Don't think it's a bad legendary, it just offers you more abilities that play into this massive abilities of big words of cooldown reduction effects into it. The next legendary for Holy is going to be a necklace. Each time you cast Flash Heal, your next heal cast within 15 seconds has its casting time reduced by a couple seconds. Right now it's a 0, and heal increased by 10%, stacking up to 3 times. So you have your Flash Heal, which is a mana expensive ability, fast cast, and does a bit of emergency healing. Or you can go for Heal, which is a longer cast, a lot better on mana, and heals more efficiently. I mean, it literally says efficient in the name. So if you do have to get an ally out of a bad situation, you can stack it up to 3. So we'll have a 1.5 second, literally less than a second cast, and a massive extra heal to it. Is that what it's supposed to be? Yeah, increases healing by 15%. So yeah, it does seem like it'll actually increase the healing you do. That's kind of cool. And also, I think I just saw a graphic on my screen. There it is, yeah. So there's like a almost like a eye graphic, almost like a, I would say, mage, like a weird stretched out version of mage arcane intellect, but it shows you that heal is available. That's kind of cool. I think this is the first legendary that we actually seen a graphic display like this, so that's an awesome and I think a unique legendary to add to Holy Priest. Then we have gloves. Prayer of Mending. Healing has 8% chance to grant you apotheosis. So Prayer of Mending is your instant cast heal that will apply a stack of heal to an ally. When they take damage, it will consume a heal stack and it will bounce to an extra ally. So Apotheosis is, I think, a talent. Yes, Apotheosis is a talent, 2-minute cooldown. It's kind of like the priest version of Ascendance. Enter pure holy form for 20 seconds, increasing cooldown reduction of your words by 200 and reducing their cost by 100. So you'll be able to cast more holy words because it'll increase their cooldown reduction, and they'll be mana free. So that's going to be kind of good. I think with the priest you can kind of set yourself up where you can get yourself a 10 stacks, and you can get your allies maybe a 5 stack, so your whole party can have a 5 stack of Prayer of Mending before you go into an encounter, and then you can get Apotheosis from time to time, which could be quite good. I think this is a cool legendary. Again, I don't know if any of these priest legendaries have been there before, or if this is not new to you guys if you're a Holy Priest main, but this, I like it. I think it seems good. It's low chance, but in a bigger group, it becomes easier to heal. Finally, we have a Helm. When you use Holy Word spell, you have a chance to summon an image of Naru at your side for 15 seconds. Whenever you cast spells, the Naru will cast a similar spell. So I think this is the artifact weapon for priests, or either one of the traits for priests. But I think this is the actual active ability, or the passive ability, and eventually you can unlock the other active ability of the artifact weapon. Whenever you use a Holy Word spell, you have a chance to summon Image of Naru. It'll summon a similar spell, so I don't think it'll actually like flash heal. It'll use a heal for single target if you're single target healing, and I think it has this AoE heal if you use an AoE heal, and I think it tries to do damage if you try to damage, so it won't be like a direct smite like you normally would have, so it'll do like a version of its heals. Oh, there it is. So if I use a heal, it should try to heal. Nice, it'll turn to me. If I do damage, it should try to do damage. Oh, there it is. And if I do AoE healing, does it try to AoE heal? Well, kind of. It lasts there for quite a while. Yeah, I guess it... I wonder what the chances for this. But it's pretty cool. Just summon a Naru next to you. This seems kind of cool. It's cool seeing a Naru just pop up out of nowhere, but I think Holy Priests so far seem to have a pretty good and variety of skills they get to use from the legendaries. But now it's time for a good old disc. Man, I love disc. It's just, you do damage, you do a bit of healing. It is so good. I'm a huge fan of it. And some of the stuff that they've added to Disc Priest, I mean, some of the talents they have are kind of cool. Does this stuff actually work now? Does Shadow Covenant actually work now? That's pretty cool. And I love some of the Mind Blast abilities and everything else they got going on. But let's take a look at some of the different legendaries that Disc Priests are going to be able to mess around with in the Shadowlands. During Rapture, Power Word Shield costs 20% less mana and applies 6-second longer atonements. Wow, okay. So this seems to just buff your Rapture. It's already been a pretty strong cooldown, but now it's going to be even better. The atonements, I think, are going to be nice into your setup. You know, you usually go for Evangelism to get yourself 6 seconds extra duration, and you kind of add that 6-second duration into your Rapture. So getting a full raid, fully atonement out is going to be much easier without having like massive giga amounts of haste. That's going to be kind of cool. So when you use it right now, it's just going to cost less, so you can spread your Power Word Shields a lot more. That's pretty cool. And an atonement that lasts 20 seconds. Is that true? Yeah, so 20 seconds. That's actually quite awesome. It's kind of cool. It doesn't actually buff the shields, but it is mana efficient, so that's going to be really nice since you're spamming out a lot of shields. I think this would be really good inside of raids. I don't know how good this would be in dungeons, but this seems like a really good raid utility. Then we have a cloak. Power Word Radius has a 50% chance to cause the next penance to be free and fire 3 extra bolts. What? Whoa. So I'm normally Castigation. Let's go with Twist of Fate for the time being. Actually, normally I would be Schism, but let's just go with Twist of Fate for now. I haven't messed with these talents at all. It should be Power Word Solace. I feel kind of bad not being powered. I feel dirty not being Powered Solace. But when using your Power Word Radiance, you have a 50% chance to make your next penance. Is it really 50? Yeah, 50. to make an next penance be kind of like a mega penance. There we are. And you have a similar effect of like an eyeball above your head to let you know that the ability is ready. The penance will be free and will fire 3 extra bolts. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's some big damage for penance and massive healing, I would guess. Let's see what the tooltip says if I have healing. Oh my goodness. Okay, so if I were to heal myself, it would be... If I were to maybe add this on the screen as well, we can maybe see how much damage or how much I heal myself. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everybody healing me for about 1,000. So that's like a 6,000 heal very, very quickly. Or damage-wise, it should be a little bit over... Let me cast Smite just so you can have a breakpoint. Okay, cool. Yeah, so pretty... Wow, crit's pretty good. So yeah, it seems like a decent heal. 50% chance, so it'll be up basically all the time. I think together in combination with Schism, it's still going to be a very solid combo. Yeah, seems like a really solid legendary overall for Disc Priest. I wonder how big this will be. But I think this one might be a lot more... Damage-wise, in atonement healing for smaller groups and even bigger trash bags, I feel like this one is more versatile. And finally, we have for Disc Priest, only 3 legendaries, sad to say. Power Word Shield instantly heals the target for a little bit extra and reflects 30% of the damage absorbed. Ooh, okay. So I remember Priest having, I think, back in WoD, that has to do with absorbs and reflecting damage back at enemies. And I remember being so annoying. It felt like Thorns right now of BFA or Thorns back in Legion. But yeah, it was very, very annoying to play against in PvP. I do like this absorb. And maybe if you're going to go with maybe Shield Discipline to get a lot of value out of it, you could make it really strong too. But the extra absorb could be nice. I think mostly in PvP or Mythic Pluses where any bits of damage is good. I like the heal as well. So maybe Power Word Shield would be more of a regular ability because right now you use it before a fight. But you don't really Power Word Shield unless you are adding Rapture, because right now it's better to just Shadow Mend. So I wonder if adding this extra heal can make this ability more usable if you're just trying to kind of add a bit of heal, mostly to prevent damage, but mostly just trying to go on the offensive. I also wonder if the Shield Reflect benefits Atonement. That's something definitely worth testing. Too bad these trained dummies don't hit me back, otherwise I'd try it. But yeah, so far I'd say Disc, a small pool of legendaries, but not bad. I wonder what else it would get if Blizzard were to add more legendaries to the servers. And here we are, boys. You knew what would happen. We have to check out Shadow. Let's take a look at what the priests have in terms of legendaries. Some of you guys that play priest probably speculated that, you know what, priests have used borrowed powers quite a lot in a few expansions now. And borrowed powers kind of defines the spec in a way. It's not really that good until you get all the new doodads like the legendaries and artifact weapons of Legion, and all of a sudden you're a god. Or if you get the right Azurites and essences in BFA, and all of a sudden you're a god. And maybe some people speculated that we'll just wait until legendaries to see how good priests are going to be. So let's take a look at some of those legendaries. Again, early alpha. I know priest is a bit of a touchy subject for some of you. I think they're still gonna get a lot of work done on. We just haven't seen it yet because Blizzard haven't gotten to them. It's not a matter of if, I think it's a matter of when. But anyway, take a look at the legendaries. We have ourselves chess piece that I've seen. Actually, no, I haven't seen anybody else use this one. So this is interesting. There's one legendary I've seen before. Shadow Word Death consumes 6 seconds of Shadow Word Pain and Vampiric Touch, instantly dealing that damage to the target and generating 10 sanity. Ooh, it had a little effect to it too. Wait, I want to see what that looked like. Hold on. So we have Painbreaker. Painbreaker Psalm. I guess that's the name of the legendary. You did 695 shadow damage, I guess, from VT and 511 from Touch of Death. Wait, does it actually consume so it shortens your cooldown? Consumes, so I think it shortens the duration. Oh, interesting. Because normally you would play into a Void Eruption and you would try to use Void Bolt as often as you can to kind of prolong the duration of your dots. But now you can consume the dots? Interesting choice. But then again, at least dots are getting some value out of it. Because dot damage, I feel like, takes so long to really do its thing. So, yeah, that's a little bit extra damage on top of what the priest was already doing. I kind of like that interaction. I think that's really cool. It adds a little bit extra burst. And also generates a solid amount of 10 extra sanity, which you can play into the whole maintain insanity type of deal. It does mean the priest will need to reapply dots, but the dots are actually getting their value, are they not? I know that Destro Warlocks have a similar playstyle where they apply Immolate, and the Chaos Bolts can take up a portion of Immolate, and that means, yes, you'll have to reapply Immolate from time to time, but it's definitely worth, because the damage it does is worth the while. So I wonder how strong this ability is, but we don't have Recount, or add-ons, or details, or SCADA to check out the damage of this ability. So I would need to do a dungeon and have someone log it, because I don't really know how to log fights myself yet. But yeah, I wonder how much damage this ability can do over a boss fight or over a dungeon. Then we have a cloak for our Shadow Priest. Mind Flay has a chance to spawn Void Potential that channels Mind Flay each target for 10 seconds, generating 3 sanity when it deals damage. So this is a artifact weapon trait. So this is on Mind Flay, and it doesn't say exactly what is the chance. So we'll just keep Mind Flaying until we get our tentacle. Oh, there it is. Void Tendril. It is doing 351 damage a pop. Oh, it's channeled for a while. And I'm getting resources too. So overall, it did about 350 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3,150 damage. Well, that's a pretty big hit. Well, I mean, it's dot kind of. It's channels. But that's a pretty sizable hit. That's actually a good one. It's just my biggest problem right now is the proc chance. I was sitting there for quite a bit, just channeling, seeing if it'll proc. That's a decent legendary. I think, or yeah, that's a decent legendary. I think it does pretty good damage. I hope it has maybe a higher proc chance, but it seems to do quite a bit when it procs. It just doesn't proc that often. Then we have the gloves. Use Shadow Fiend or Mind Bender. Deal 20% additional damage as Shadow Flame damage. And the cooldown of Shadow Fiend and Mind Bender is reduced by 40%. So Mind Bender is 1.8. Oh, a 2-minute cooldown. But Mind Bender, 36-second cooldown. What? Every 30 seconds you could pop that bad boy out and he does damage. So how much damage does it do? Shadow Flame Prism is the ability that hits for extra 100 Shadow Flame damage. So you can see him slap it for about 500, so 100 extra comes up. And he also gives you resources too. Quite a bit, I think. Generates 6 sanity each time it attacks. Yeah. Okay, Lingering Sanity, back in. Shadow Fiend, ready. 1.8 second cooldown, last 15 seconds, generate 3 sanity every time it strikes. Ooh, okay, so he does a little bit more Shadow Flame. Actually, he does a little less Shadow Flame damage. His bites are a little... Okay, never mind. I think I had those flipped. So a Shadow Fiend does a little bit of damage. A Mindbender does more damage, and their extra tag on is that. So I think Mindbender might be the go-to if you get this legendary. I think this could actually be really good in PvP. That's an extra ability that kind of just does damage for you, where a priest sometimes you can cast and you're always running for melee, so you can just set a Mindbender, and while you're running, at least you're doing some sort of damage. I kind of like it. I think it actually seems really strong as a Mindbender combo. And now we got some non-spec specific legendaries. We got only 3, so not a lot to get through. But we're going to take a look at legendaries that are available to you no matter the spec of priest that you are. First one is going to be a ring. Leap of Faith, and that causes you to leap to the target and has 2 charges. So I don't think I can Leap of Faith to any of these guys here. Maybe if I can get a Shadow Fiend to spawn, maybe I can leap to the target. I'll try. Set him up, and we'll see if I can get myself grip to him. Invalid target. Okay, so it has to be a player. Yeah, so that's not going to work. But that's pretty cool. I also noticed how it modifies the icon of Leap of Faith. It just modifies it completely. So when I take off the legendary, I'll show you. It's a ring. But as soon as I'm out of combat, it goes back to Leap of Faith. And then when I put it on, it's Leap of Faith, but with yellow background. That's kind of cool. That's a unique addition. Then we have these boots, which are more utilitarian. I think a healer would like them better. When Shadow Ward Pain expires on a target, 5 allies within 20 yards of the target are healed for 6% of the maximum health. Now, as a Shadow Priest, I don't think you want your Shadow Pain to ever expire. So I don't really know how much value you'll get out of it. For a Discipline Priest, this is actually decent. Because let's say you'll go into a Mythic Plus group and you have a trash pack. You'll dot them up and you'll start healing an ally. Cauterizing Shadows. It did do a heal. So as I think as a Discipline Priest, you would go into like a trash pack of 5 or 6 enemies. You'll dot them up in the beginning. Then you'll start penancing, smiting, and off-healing the tank whenever possible, and rotating defensives. And at a later time, you will reapply your dots, but with this legendary, you can kind of wait for your dots to expire, and maybe spend, like when you know your dots are about to expire, you can just go back to smiting, penancing, and doing damage or dispelling enemies, because you know you have a bit of healing coming in for your party after. So this one is definitely gonna force Priest to kind of like, mostly from holy or discipline perspective, to kind of just stop for a second, let the heals happen, reapply the dots, and then continue on. This could be a little bit of value. I feel like for Shadow this is pretty mute, just because you're not really gonna get that much value as a Shadow Priest. You kind of want your dots to be there all the time. Cool legendary. That's actually an anima ability as well from the Torghast, but unless you're a healer, I doubt it's gonna get that much play. And finally, another helm. Power Infusion also grants you 100% of its effect when used on an ally. This is actually kind of nuts. So it's been a bit of a contention with Priest and Power Word Infusion, or Power Infusion. Power Infusion grants any ally for 20 seconds 25% extra haste. So Priest felt like, oh man, if I'm going to be brought to raids, I'll need to give Power Infusion to a Warlock so he can check out the chaos bots. I'll need to give it to the rogue so they can get their damage out. I'll need to give it to other healers so they can heal, or maybe tanks so they can get their cooldowns back faster. So as a Priest, your thought process is, I'm probably not going to be able to use this Power Infusion for myself, and I'd rather use it for myself. I think it's cool that they gave Priest all specs of Priest. Power Infusion, which is a very unique ability that you can bring into a dungeon or raid. I think whether Priest is good, whether it's not, Power Infusion can be a playmaker for the group. Maybe if you're someone who is more focused on your damage or your performance, yeah, it might feel a little bit weird to give this ability to somebody else, kind of like a druid with Innervate. But with this legendary, now you can share. I don't know how many priests are actually going to run this legendary. I feel like there's a bit of that human thing to just like, yeah, I don't really want to share kind of deal. But with this legendary, you actually are free to share, whether you're disc, holy, or shadow. Power Infusion grants you 100% of its effect when used on an ally, so both of you can have Power Infusion. Anyway, this is going to be a very interesting ability, and it's interesting that it's on a set of gear that's called Grim Veiled Hood. I don't know how many Shadow Priests will be happy about this or unhappy. But anyway, that's going to be all the legendaries we have for Priest right now. A little bit sad that we don't have a lot more legendaries to look at, as it looks like Priest doesn't really have a lot of them yet. I think there'll be more legendaries added at a later time, maybe with some community feedback, and maybe Blizzard will try to figure out which old tier sets that used to exist that might come back as a legendary. Overall though, I would say that Holy and Discipline Priest have some very interesting ones when it comes to healing. Quite a big loadout for different abilities that can benefit in a variety of ways. Same thing for Shadow. I actually kind of like some of the legendaries that Shadow is getting. And I kind of like how you can get a 30-second or 36-second Mindbender, which I think is kind of broken. But also this shareable power word buff, that seems absolutely nuts. I'm actually surprised how good it is. Again, I wonder how many priests will actually play to share. I feel like if you're doing group content inside of raids and dungeons, group performance is more important than your performance. But I wonder how many priests are going to be like, no, my buff, my power word, my Power Infusion, me. So I wonder how that will shape up. It's definitely a weird ability, and feeling like you have to give up your own utility to someone else does feel weird. But I wonder if that'll change in the future, and maybe they'll change it for Shadow Priests in particular. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. This was very interesting. Check out some of the Priest legendaries. Very surprised with the direction of some of them, but they do seem all quite strong, and I think all of them are beneficial, whether you're Holy Priest, Discipline Priest, or the Lone Wolf Shadow Priest. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see all of you in another one.